everyone, and welcome to Zach's Garage, and welcome to another episode of Zach's Chats. And once again, we have a very special guest, none other than Mr. Lord Aleem himself. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me here, Zach.
No, well, it's a pleasure having you here, and I'm thankful you could come.
Before we get started, I must mention to the viewers that this is a phenomenal garage, or shall I say, a collection that you have here. And we've had a little walk around, about 15-20 minutes before sitting down here. And I'm still trying to catch my breath with the amount of cars and the amount of stunning cars that I've seen here, the conditions of some of the older cars, and then obviously the coining's egg. So thank you so much for having me here. This is the best way to spend a Friday.
Yeah, it's not a bad Friday. Well, thank you very much for the kind words. But I know there's a lot of people who, especially our age, who will know of you because you're the sort of the young person in the UK who had the crazy cars. He had the fleet outside of his house who did the really cool video. I remember watching the video, and I know there was you picked up a lot of traction very early on. So what did you find? The one thing I want to get into is you as a person behind the whole social media and behind what you do. What was the first thing that shocked you when you first started doing social media?
Well, I've always been a confident character. I've always been out there, and I've always been very vocal on my passion for cars. Obviously, as you go through school, and I was in a position where I would get picked up in nice cars from school and whatever, and there would be envy around the school amongst the kids, and that envy changed my passion for cars into more focusing on just rubbing it in a little bit more into it. So that's how the whole social media thing started off with.
Sure.
Was a bit more like, you know what, let me show you something that you probably have never seen before, because social media was such a new thing then, and these things haven't been seen. Like these collections, they've been away for so long, and there's other collections out there that people haven't seen, and there's social media and online friendly people like yourself and I that could share this. So what turned out of sharing stuff out of ego and pride turned into, hold on a second, there's a lot of other people out here that actually appreciate and enjoy your passion for cars, and they don't just hate on you for it. So maybe we're looking in the wrong direction. So I took that, shall we say, that passion and that drive of wanting to connect with more like-minded people like myself, and then when I started to find them, I started to enjoy the game a lot more. I started to understand what it's all about, and now I'm here sitting 25 years old, and I probably wouldn't do the things that I did when I was 17, 18, 19, maybe even younger than that. That's when I was actually donating the Audi R8 in the driveway at 16. But a different approach now. I want to share my passion. I want to educate, and we all have our phase, or all have our time of being silly with cars, and I've just been very lucky at a young age to have so much access to it. And obviously growing up online, there's probably so many opinions these guys online have of me, but again, it's so refreshing to meet someone like yourself that, again, this is what it's all about, coming around, exactly. You talking to me about some of the history of your cars, why you bought certain cars, and it's just refreshing not talking about money and pricing and the pull-up and who's better than who, and let's just take everything for what it is.
For what it is, an impressive thing.
Engineering.
Exactly, engineering. Now, I know already we'll have some people questioning, saying, why is the Koenigsegg like purple? Well, you have some pretty incredible cars. Now, behind us, take it away, please explain the cars you've got and what this car is, cars incoming.
Again, I think this is the only car in my collection that whenever I look at it, I get excited every time. And it came to that stage where we were ordering, obviously, for the fleet. In case the audience don't know, I have a car hire company. So my collection's a little bit different to what Zach has here. Mine are used on a regular basis and can be used by other people as well. So we have to be very neutral on color points. So blacks and whites and reds and yellows, and playing it safe. But as I got to understand my audience, my clientele more, and the more confidence they put into myself in terms of saying, Aleem, we want to drive, and we like your vision that you have with cars, it gave me more freedom to become a bit more experimental on specs. So I remember when the dealer told me the Aventador was coming to the last stages, and I went, oh, finally, hurrah, we've had the Aventador, we've had the Aventador Roadster, we've had the Aventador S, we've had the SV, and what now, SVJ? Okay, so there's an SV. Is this the final one?
Is this the last one?
You promised me this is the last one, right? Yeah, promise you this is the last one, right? Okay, didn't want the roadster configuration in it anyway. So, okay, so we went to the factory and I had blue or green in mind. Because they're both colours that I haven't really done on Lamborghinis yet.
Yeah.
And I remember I was sitting in the ad personam bay and they brought along lots of different shades of blue, lots of different shades of green. And I was spending nearly like, £450,000 on the last Aventador. And I'm still looking at the same colours that I was looking at for the first ever Aventador.
Yeah,
I'm just like, no, hold on a second. We've got to do something a bit different here.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I wonder, who do I love the most? It's my mum. Right, okay, well, I've got to make this a bit more sentimental. A bit like what your cars are here.
Sure.
Right, so I'm finally getting into the more sentimental side of things. Putting a bit more value onto the car. So I thought, okay, what's my mum's favourite colour? Purple. Right, okay, well, that's all I'm going to give her on that side of things. I'm now going to come up with what I believe is the most perfect shade of purple in my eyes. And I remember I was at Autosport International and I saw a BMX spike frame. And it had a certain shade of purple. So I made a video of it and I showed it to the ad personam guys and I said, look, how about this colour? And they had one look at it, they displayed some purples, some pinks, and the guys said, listen, I think I know what you're looking for. Leave it with me. And honestly, I didn't have much confidence in him. I thought, how many samples are we going to come out before it actually hits home? And he did it in one. After a month or so, the sample came through the post in an envelope on this kind of flexi thing. I flexed it on the other Aventadors that I had. I'm looking at I wonder what it looks like on this panel shape. And it was one of them ones. It was like, well, it seems okay on this, and should we go for it? Yeah, why not? Let's go for it, right? Yeah. And for what it's done for the car and the amount that Lamborghini charged for this option, I think it was great value for money. I also did the interior as well, inside in the pinky purple. Yeah. This leather has only ever been, I'm not allowed to say this, but I'm going to say this because we're at Zach's garage, but it's only ever been used on a Centenario before. So they pulled this leather out for the details because the other purple wasn't really matching with it, so they made an exception.
Sure.
But again, I wasn't meant to say that, but I've said it. And that's how it came. And I named the colour Viola Ashifa, which is my mother's name.
Fantastic.
So the original colour is not called Viola Ashifa.
Right.
It's actually called, they choose the names out of a Latin book. They don't let you name the colour.
Yeah, sure.
But because of the following that we have and absolutely. You know what? I'm going to launch the car with a new colour name and this is what it is and that's what it's stuck at. So even when people go to Lamborghini now and they say, we need Viola Ashifa. So I just wanted to make a mark with my mum.
Fantastic. And so with that, what I found, a lot of car companies won't give you an exclusive colour. Have Lamborghini said yours will be the only car?
No.
So there will be, and there could be.
There could be, and I will be. I
suppose it's an honour.
I'll be honoured. I would be flattered if you use this colour. In fact, I would love to see this colour on something like a bit more of a usable Lamborghini. Maybe if they do the Urus in the ad personam colours, because Zach, I believe this colour has the depth of feeling a bit more aggressive and having that kind of substance to it. But when the sun hits it, it can be childish with that pink and purple and a bit of Lamborghini in it. And it also gives me Diablo vibes, especially with the silver calipers. Now, these silver calipers are no-cost option, and I had them because I was going to have the calipers done myself afterwards. But once they came, everybody complimented the fact that the silver calipers break down the whole thing, and we stuck with it.
The car is stunning. I remember seeing it at Chiro's place, and one of your colleagues.
One of my customers.
Yeah, one of your customers. One of your customers.
Yeah, yes.
I thought he was a colleague.
He's a colleague and a customer at the same time. A very, very special friend to partner.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So he bought it down, and I remember looking at it and going, "That's something." Because you go to every car show, there's always an Aventador. You know there's going to be an Aventador. You don't know what type. There could be a Roadster. There could be an SV. And Chiro says to me, we've got an SVJ coming. I was like, okay, cool. I haven't seen, might be interesting. When this turned up, I actually didn't care about the car. I looked at the colour and I was like, I need a car in that colour. That's amazing.
Right.
But, so you obviously own Platinum Executive Travel.
Yes.
Would you like to tell the audience about the cars you have and what PET does?
Yes. So Platinum started in 2006. My father started it. It's a family business. And he started off with one Rolls-Royce Phantom. Took the idea from the Dorchester Hotel. So he was trying to whisk my mum away to Harrods and take her away on a posh weekend and thought, there's a Rolls Royce out here. Let me quickly give the driver a couple £100 or £100 or so and he'll drop me off down the road. What, a taxi's £20. So what's a Rolls Royce? Maybe 120? Yeah. Didn't quite work like that, Mr. Iqbal. You have to take the car for a minimum of 2 hours. It's £200 an hour, bingo, he's found a business idea. He brought the car over to Birmingham. There is a big Asian community demand for wedding cars and that sort of stuff. And being Asian myself, I could connect with my community and the people of my ethnicity and understand what they require from the weddings. And we created a fleet that would fit around that primarily, which was 70% of our business. That was only chauffeur-driven cars, and then I joined the business in around 2011-12 when I started making videos online, and then I started taking that a bit more seriously, getting more traction, getting a bit more of an audience, and making Platinum a bit more of a global brand, even though we were operating just out the UK. But that vision has helped take the company into Europe now, so we're also, growing. We're 15 years of PET in 2021. So it'll be like a small little anniversary then. And now we do self-drive hire cars. So we're one of the only companies in the UK that provide 25 plus self-drive hire insurance. So all of our cars, be it the SVJ or the Urus or the Rolls-Royce Cullinan or the G-Wagon or the Rolls-Royce Wraith, whatever it is, 25 years old, and it's short-term rental. So it's just pretty much you come into the office, you give us your license, we scan it away, and off you go. We give you lots of miles with it. We're quite flexible. We like to work with our clients, and we get to meet fantastic people throughout and I get lots of motoring as well.
This is very true.
Lots of motoring.
True. So now, I don't know what your policy is on clients, but have you had any very notable clients that you may like to mention?
Yes, of course. Clients that I would like to mention. I mean, it depends on what you see as your inspiration, or what kind of person you see as a big VIP. Sure. For me, sporting athletes, I'm a sporting fan, so I like my fighters. We've had even though it's been controversial, we've had the likes of Conor McGregor, we've had Floyd Mayweather, we've had, I've done weddings, we've done Steven Gerrard's wedding, with Darren Fletcher. I mean, this was before, because my father's not very connected with the sporting side of the world, or like the TV, he doesn't watch TV, he doesn't do anything like that. So when I was younger and an agent would phone and say, so-and-so, he'd be like, it's a footballer's wedding. But as I've gotten older now, I mean, we cover most of the music industry. Sony Records, they only work with us, and that's for the professionalism. There's a lot of people in this industry that look at things that I do online, or look at what others are showcasing and think this is an easy business, or this is a side business, or it's as easy as what you are seeing right now is we are reaping the rewards of maybe 12 years worth of hard work. Building the fleet up to a point where we have multiple Lamborghinis worth, Aventadors at 300. We couldn't buy another Rolls Royce for £250,000 in 2007.
No, sure.
So where the industry has gone now and online, we didn't really, especially my father, he never used to really take it seriously. You should think it was just a bit of a gimmick. You put stuff off online and it reaches out to the world, but what is it? What do you get out of it? Social media marketing is so powerful, and I genuinely don't believe that maybe you and I would have connected if I hadn't have done the videos that I'd done before. And I'm very grateful for doing the content that I did when I was younger, because it gives us a chance to connect now. And if there's a lot of things that we have around us that a lot of people just put down the shutters and say, right, it's just for me, and rightly so, they can do that.
They can, yeah.
But then it's really nice that some people actually showcase what they have to inspire, to share with, and to connect with other people. And you don't know, one of the viewers that are probably watching right now, maybe in 5 years from now, will be in business with you.
This is very true, and I mean, I think that's what I find very interesting about social media. We had this discussion earlier, is the fact that you can no longer judge a book by its cover on social media, because, as you said, there could be the 7-year-old watching this video who
he's going to be 16, 17 one day.
Well, not only that, he's going, Dad, this guy Aleem, he rents supercars. For my birthday, could we get an Urus just outside? And so for that reason, the companies that are now saying... But then it's also
a responsibility as well, though, Zach, to provide that one-to-one service. Well, that you go to another car hire company or whatever, you are not going to get 10, 15 minutes of car talk, and because these people see it as just a business. It's not just a business. It's at the end of the day, it's a lot of money. It might just be a fraction of the car's price that they're using, but it's an experience that we want to give them, experience from start to finish. And again, what you mentioned about the youth is what is. I mean, our fathers. We have fantastic fathers. I know I have from what I hear the way you speak about your father. Yeah, I know that he's a fantastic father as well, and they want to give their kids the most, and like every father. Now, when you have access to these cars and they take them to these car meets and they get inspired, who knows, when he's 16, 17 years old, he might go over to Coventry University, might start designing cars, And before you know it, he's made the new Aston Martin. And it all started off with you letting him sit in your Koinen's egg.
Well, the funniest part of what you've just said, in 2006, I was at Olympia in London, in an auction house, and a man came up to me and he said, I was looking at all these cars running around, and he goes, "You seem really into cars." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Come on, I'll show you a really cool car." And he sat me in this car, gear stick really up here. I was like, "This is ridiculous, cool looking doors." And it was a Koenigsegg CCX. And it was the same person who we deal with now. Ever since then, I've always said to my dad and my family, maybe we should look at a Koenigsegg. And now we spent £3+ million on a car. That man earned £3 million because he let a 10-year-old sit in a car that, did it cost him anything? No. Did it make him something? Very much so.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
and that's what I find
That's
so
a question I want to
amazing.
ask you as well. And I know I've asked you before, but this is for the audience as well.
No.
I mean, we've just purchased our first hypercar, being a Bugatti Chiron, and we've discussed this. It's not as exclusive as the Koinensegs in terms of numbers. And I wanted to ask, because everything that I see in your collection has history, right? Has got history, has got depth, it's got something going on about it, right? Koinensegg is a company that's how old now?
95 they started.
Right. So it's younger than me, right?
Yeah.
So we're saying around 25 years old. Let's say the company is 24 years old, right? That is a lot of money to spend on a hypercar of that magnitude when there is other things around that are a bit more safer.
Absolutely.
And I believe that it's collectors and people like yourself that help establish these manufacturers to one day then becoming a bigger manufacturer.
Would you have your Chiron if in the 40s Ettore made a car and everyone went, well, it hasn't got any history, I don't want to go near it. You could be a part, or anyone could be a part of the history of a company.
Yes.
You buy an Aventador, people won't look back in 6 years' time and go,
you're only as good as your next car.
And also, the fact is that you can be what I call a pioneer in these cars. When you're spending over £1 million, you start less looking, I find, well, some people start less looking at the history, more looking at when you sit in it, when you drive it, what you fall in love with. Because at the end of the day, you didn't buy that Chiron because you went, the history of Bugatti's phenomenal.
No, not at all.
You probably bought it because you thought it's a beautiful car, or it drives amazingly,
exactly.
or you bought it because you love it. You didn't necessarily, like people who buy an Aventador, it's a different situation.
Oh no, I'll be honest with you, I think 70%, I'm sorry to all the Aventador owners, I think 70 to 80% of Aventador owners love a good pull-up. Love a good silk shirt.
Yeah, absolutely. Love turning up at the car show.
And that's why I love Lamborghini.
It's very true. Well, I mean, I can't talk. We've got three, but I think Lamborghini have got their niche, which is they are the most the most apparent look to them. You look at a Ferrari and you go, oh, is that an Aston Martin? Is it a Ferrari? Is it a Lamborghini? You look at an Aventador, they go, oh my God, it's an Aventador. Oh my God, it's a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
That is what Lamborghini have always appealed to, not necessarily the younger generation, but the generations who, like Ferrari, like for me, for instance, and for you, we look at an F40 and go, what an amazing car. You don't necessarily look at one of the first Lambos and go, what an amazing car. But every generation on their wall or on their phone screen had a Lamborghini, a Countach, a Miura, an Aventador, a Gallardo, a Murcielago. And that's what Lamborghini got right. They made it so that every generation had one car that went, can you imagine having that? There's better cars out there.
Yeah.
Because you've got them.
It's very
there are better cars than the Aventador for the same money, but there is no car that will do what that car does.
Exactly.
In every way.
But this is why a lot of people had like when I get a lot of people ask me for advice in terms of what should I buy for this price point. And do you remember when the Aventador F12 battle was happening?
Yes. Yeah.
Aventador won every single time. Nobody gave a shit about performance at that point. It was more like, this Aventador feels like a hypercar. This makes me feel like when them doors close, when that spaceship button comes up, and when it's all drama, it's theatre. And at the end of the day, let's be honest, obviously you probably use your cars different, but some people just love a 5 mile per hour stroll down Sloane Street,
Well,
and really an S12 might just slide by, but an Aventador's like, hey, look at me.
Well, that's the passion.
Where the girls at?
Whatever, yeah, exactly. But the thing is like whatever you like doing with your car,
yeah, exactly.
is the automotive passion. Golf, you can only hit.
I like
ball.
going to car
Cars,
meets.
You can do whatever.
I liked going to car meets and liked getting all the attention with the Aventador, even though there's a lot more special cars out there. And as a car person, I know there are a lot more. But every kid was just like, it flames.
Yeah,
it flames.
It shoots flames.
It shoots flames. Oh, have you heard it? Nothing sounds like an Aventador. Oh, and the doors go up, and the flames did it though. The flames did it for that car.
Yeah.
Until someone caught up in flames.
Who was that?
So loads of cars caught up in
Loads.
flames.
That's true, actually. There was a few.
I just remember there was a
surge, wasn't there? I remember when there was a surge, and it was like every week there was someone revving their Aventador in London, and suddenly fire or something. So, but it's funny, you look at McLaren, like the 600 LT, all of a sudden that car's spitting flames and it's caught traction quite a bit. I wonder why. Maybe because of the flames. You know, who knows?
But the Mercedes, do you remember the Mercedes C63? Obviously the 6.3. Was it 6.2? Or whatever.
Whatever it was,
yeah. But but everybody just. I remember I had that for my second car, and it drove like it was a bit of a slug. It wasn't very good at handling and everything, but it was all about the noise. That's all it was. Everybody wanted to just hear that V8.
Yeah.
Design of the car, everything about it goes out of
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, to look at, you go, okay, it's a C63. If you took all the badge off and showed it to a car person, they'd like to know.
Do you also find that some people, all they want out of their car is it to be the loudest, right?
Yeah.
To be the
loudest, not necessarily in noise either. The loudest wherever they go in terms of look at that.
No, but even noise, like even when some people say, "Oh, that car," like let's say someone says, "The Pista doesn't sound as loud," or a 488 doesn't sound as loud. Right. I really love OEM sounds. You know, like refinement. Even like when I had a Range Rover SVR, the amount of people that said, "Oh, you know what you need on that? You need a so-and-so exhaust on it." I'm thinking about how much louder do you want it to be?
Yeah, that's
before it starts to become a nuisance.
Well, that's the thing, and so many people. You always have the people who, like for instance, on the Pista, on our 458 when we had the 458, people were saying non-car people say, "Oh, straight pipe it." Car people who had the 458 were like, because all it'll do is create a headache. We're doing 70 mile an hour on the motorway.
Engine management lights.
Because engine management lights, and also the people at the car show see the car pulling up and leaving. What they don't see is the 2 hours on the motorway going.
Oh.
Because 3 hours, people say
that was us on the way here.
I'm sure
we had to get out, do some
stretch,
exercises, make sure we're looking all fresh, and make sure Zach doesn't think we're half asleep.
But it's funny because like I do a lot of miles in a lot of different cars, and people say, "Oh, you're so lucky to drive all these cars on such long distance." You go, 3 hours in a car is 3 hours in a car. You could be in Rolls Royce and that sort of car is different. If I said to you, right, you've got to do 3 hours in that today, you wouldn't look forward to it.
Oh.
You might look forward to the 15, 20-minute stint where it's country roads, it's winding, or there's one big stroke with no cameras on, obviously to stick to the speed limit. But that's the thing. People think that, owners of these things flash them everywhere.
If you want to see my posture, right, yeah.
Aventador posture.
Yeah, it's not very good. I just did 1,300 miles from Tirana, Albania to Cologne, Germany. I had another driver, we split it a little bit, and that's a Lamborghini Urus we did that in, right? And one would say, calm, we can do it in a Lamborghini Urus, it's not a problem. Yeah, we could do. Yeah, what do you mean? What you're causing a fuss about? But my God, once you actually start to spend more than an hour or two, you start to really realise, hold on, these are seats that are more focused for sportiness, not comfort. The ultimate road trip car. And I will say this, and I'm pretty sure there's nothing that will be able to beat it. I've tried out many cars, is a Rolls Royce. Yeah. I found that. Yeah. It just eats up the miles and just makes you still feel like you're sitting in your living room. Yeah, and I think that's why Rolls Royce will always be the thing that everything's compared to. Yeah. It's like for instance, like this pencil is the Rolls Royce of pencils. It's the pinnacle. Yes, it's the pinnacle. Whatever it is the Rolls Royce of. Yeah. So like people say, oh yeah, but look at a Bentley. Bentley's and Rolls Royce are non-comparable. No, exactly. Non-comparable. And you've driven the Phantom 8? Yes. The Phantom 8, the way that handles, you could use. You couldn't think they can make the Phantom better. When you experience the Phantom, and this was back in the Series 1, 2006, 2007. I remember when I sat in that car for the first time, I thought to myself, motoring can't get any more smoother or more luxurious than this in terms of the ride. And then you jump in the Phantom 8 and it's like, you could have a glass of water in the middle and drive, you know, give it a little, and it will just...
It's the one thing, see, as a car person, it's hard to impress car people who are genuinely spend a lot of time in nice cars. The Phantom 8, I think, is the car that you get in, you go, yes, you know, the way it takes speed, the way it... I mean, we did a trip in Croatia where we had, in the Pyrenees, sorry, we had our 488, we had, like, there was an Aventador, McLarens. The Rolls Royce was keeping up with us. Yes, okay, it was leaning a bit, but because of, like, the rear wheel steer. And they're sitting there, getting hammered as ever, with champagne, and you're seeing this car going round corners. It did like a lap round Pau circuit in France. And there's a photo of it leaning, going around corners. But the owner gets out and he goes like, it takes it so much better than you think.
I'll tell you an interesting story. So my friend over here who's with me, we did the Lions Run Rally. It's a summer rally, and it's with some of my German European friends that I met at university. And I lost the keys to the Urus that I was meant to be taking to the rally. In the morning I couldn't find it, and we had to catch the train. There was timings that we had to get to Munich. So while looking around for about 15-20 minutes, and then thought, you know what, the best thing to do, maybe it wasn't meant to be, was find a different car. I saw a Ghost over there. I thought, can't be taking a Rolls Royce Ghost to a rally. Like, everyone's got like Ferraris and stuff. Like, everyone's going to be going so fast. But look, this is the option, and it's either you go or you don't go, right? So we go. The best thing that ever happened to us. We had a Bugatti Chiron on that run. We had lots of other supercars and whatever. The whole way off the motorway, I can't get into trouble about this. 150 miles per hour, 155 miles per hour is this top speed limit. It was coming off the limiter. The needle was coming up, and the car was gliding. And we had people making videos from their supercars, i8s and 488s and Bugattis and everything. Just watch, and they were just so shocked at the way it was taking the bends. It was gliding and keeping up, and how much longer I could stay at 120, 130 comfortably, whereas they're like, and that is draining, you know. So for that reason, these guys, I'll show you some pictures later. They were sleeping in the back like this. I kid you not. So like, obviously it was a long road trip. Two of them, I looked in my rearview mirror, and both of them were like this. Right? And I've then looked at the passenger, and the passenger's knocked down. I thought, this is too comfortable. Put down the window straight away. Wake up, everybody!
I think actually on that, the one thing I find hilarious. So we've got a Wraith. The one thing I find is hilarious when people go, you know, you put them in a Rolls Royce and they're like, yeah, it's amazing. You go, yeah, but watch this. You roll the windows down. They're like, it really is quiet. Because the insulation that the windows do, there is no windows in them. That's the weirdest thing.
There's also so much lining in between the base of the car that makes it so quiet. There's not a cabin that's ever been quieter. With the Wraith, with the Dawn, I do sometimes find, like, after a while, after many years of use and washes and stuff, the seals, I do get a little whistle here and there from like, a little bit of air coming in. But in terms of the hardtop versions of them, like the Wraiths, the Phantom Coupes, the Phantom,
they just take
it becomes a bit eerie. You have to have some ambience in there, some ambient sound coming through. You're like, whoa, I can hear myself, like my heartbeat.
Exactly. No, exactly. So,
did you know Skepta, the artist, actually recorded a song in the back of a Rolls Royce Phantom 8?
Really?
Because it was so quiet. It was like a studio. Yeah. But then they had to take down the video because he didn't wear the seatbelt in the commercial.
That's just the world, isn't it, at the moment? That is just the world. It's such a headache. But, so, in terms of, the one thing I want to get into is, like, when you're running the business, in terms of dealing with customers, what do you think you found major? Because, like, I've got friends, Auto Vivendi, and other supercar rental companies.
Auto Vivendi is a supercar club, correct?
Supercar club, Not technically a rental, it's more of a club. That it's a bit different. But what do you find that made yourself or made the company stand out, that made people want to go, actually, I want to go to them instead of a competitor?
So Zach, I can give you many examples, but I'm going to give you the most recent example, okay? A 65-year-old man, he's retired now. He's been a trader all his life, he sells fruit on the markets, and now he's come towards the end of retirement, and once again, he's love at retirement, and he wanted to take his wife to the south of France, and he took the Rolls-Royce Dawn, 14 days, 15 days or so, and he got into France, and by accident, he put AdBlue in the tank.
Right. Okay.
So as soon as he's done that, he's driven, he's realised what's happened, he's phoned the office, and what we do on this basis, because we understand how important a service is, right, and we have so much stock, that as soon as he said that we put AdBlue in the car, it was like, hold the line. What driver do we have available? What's the next Rolls Royce that's closest to a Dawn that we have available? We haven't even asked him if there's a problem or not right now.
Sure.
Get in the car, start making your way down towards the Channel Tunnel. We don't know what's going to happen. He's just said there's AdBlue, but we need to make movements before anyone, just in case. You can turn around after 3 hours if needs be, but it means like, you've burnt, what, £100 in fuel, but you could have got to the customer 2 hours earlier, 3 hours earlier, right? So customers now said, oh, it's coughing and spluttering a bit. I've pulled it on the side. No problem. What we're doing is we're sending another Rolls Royce to you. Should be with you in about 4 hours, right? In that time, we've called up Rolls Royce assistance. We are available 24 hours. We don't sleep.
Yeah.
Right? It's our responsibility to make sure that you are kept moving and everything is pucker. Now, so for example, the Rolls Royce was on the way. Rolls Royce Assist came out. They managed to sort out the car. The car didn't eventually have to go. But that's what sets us apart. And who instilled that level of service into me was my father. He said we have to go above and beyond and create a service that makes people think, I wouldn't have done that.
Exactly.
Even if I wanted to, I wouldn't have thought about that. I think the most that would have happened is probably that the car will get recovered. I'll fly over to Monaco and they'll have another car delivered. Didn't think that I'd have to stop off on a roadside for another maybe 2.5, 3 hours whilst my driver is doing his absolute utmost best to make sure the car gets to the customer. Yeah, he might have to pay a bit, but we keep them moving.
Sure.
That's one example. Another example might be, for example, a customer doesn't want to park his car outside of his house at night, so maybe wants to finish up with what he's doing and wants to come and park it back at my showroom at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? That's based on if they live close to the showroom, sure. Right? So, it's not a problem. We'll get somebody there for you at 2 o'clock in the morning and we'll get the car in there safe for you. So we never say no. That's the basic. Basically, we can't say no to you. We will make it work somehow, and we will custom fit packages to you and make sure that the experience mileage. People are petty on miles. Oh, how many miles do you get? 70, 75. You can have 150 on my SVJ a day. Try doing 150.
Yeah, and you'll come out going.
For me, try doing as much as you like. And then some guys actually do go to the effort of going. But then you've got to spend the same amount on fuel and stuff. So at the end of the day, mileage for me is not a problem. I buy my cars never with the incentive of ever selling them. But I do have people, some of my customers that do hire the cars, that are so astonished by the way that we've maintained our cars. I've got Porsche 911s on 100,000 miles. I've got a Lamborghini Urus 2 years old on 75,000 miles. And when customers drive this, the first question they say is, well, we can't believe how well it drives. Secondly, would you ever sell this car? It's like, no. Well, I'll give you an offer. And then, that's why a lot of people say, well, why are you not, picky on it's a one-owner car, full service history. Our cars are run and maintained and looked at more than a car sitting around doing nothing, and we want to run them. So for that reason, the business plan side of things, it's not like we've planned for anything to happen. It's more like you put your heart into the work and the rewards come from it. We're not cheap at what we do, and I know that.
Sure.
And we're not ever going to be the cheapest. We don't strive to be the cheapest, but we strive to give you the service that you deserve. Not take a car out and say, oh, I'll borrow this off my friend over there. Yeah, just say, mate, I'll give you the car. I'll give you this SVJ where, for argument's sake, I charge £2,000 a day for this. Joe Bloggs down the road says, I'll do it for £1,400, £1,500 a day. Well, why is he doing it for £500 cheaper? Why? Right? Okay, does he tick all the boxes? Does he have the insurance? Does he have delivery? Has he got 24-hour assistance? Have they got a base? Have they got somewhere to come to if anything goes wrong? We've been here for 15 years. There is so many companies we've seen come through and exit 2-3 years. Look at what Lord Aleem's doing. He's making it look easy. I'm not even the brains behind this whole thing. It's my father. He's in the office. He's counting. His idol, when he started this whole business off, was Eddie Stobart. He loves Eddie Stobart lorries. And he watched a documentary where he saw Eddie Stobart trying to manage all these lorries over the motorway. And now what he does, he sits in his office with all four. He's like, right, trying to manage it. Right, where can that car go after Albania? What other countries can we pass through? Right, Croatia. Right, let me find a customer in Croatia. Right, phone them up. Right, lad, you got a rally go. What's your date for your rally? All right, cool. Let's blend that in. Or I'm posting that it's in Croatia. People are like, well, what are you doing over here? Do you mind? I'm from the UK. Do you mind if I can drive this back? Or and we're connecting. My vision for Platinum now is, and people may think that I'm crazy, but they thought that we were crazy before we started all of this, and now they think that I'm crazy when I'm coming to hypercar hire. Well, sometimes someone's got to be crazy. Someone's got to do something that nobody's doing. Yes, and what I want to do now is set up bases in Europe, right, where we have Pet Germany, Pet Italy, Pet Spain, Pet Monaco, because over the years through social media, I've managed to connect and travel and discover lots of different countries and see different ways people live. In the United Kingdom, we're blessed in one way, and also there's controversial in some ways that we have people from all over the world in one place here. So when you actually travel, you start to see, hold on a second, there's a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different cultures that come here and clash, and we all still seem to work. But people have different spending habits, people have different ways of living and what they like spending their money on. Down south in south of France, or let's say in Rotterdam, or in Albania, or in Croatia. They've got yachts out here that they're chartering for like 75, 80k a week. What's a supercar for about another 5, 6k a week? And, their car can be sitting pretty in the collection.
Exactly.
Oh, my phone. But yeah, that's about it. So, what sets me apart, what sets our company apart, I think it's my father's determination to provide the best service ever. And that's why we very rarely ever have complaints or ever have bad reviews. And that's what we strive for. Advertisement side of things, we never advertise. Everything's word of mouth. My customers stay with me forever,
Sure.
And that's how we like to work it. And obviously customers that do come along and completely don't fit the category of what we like to work with, we don't leave it on a bad taste. We'll just make sure we'll note down their name and whatever. Next time we'll just have to tell them the cars are not available, because at the end of the day, it's a £500,000 car. 450k, but let's round it up to the nearest. £500,000, and for 5% of the value, so not even 5%, 0.5% of the value of the car, you get to experience it for 3 days. Some people have to work for their whole life to get this car. And that's the same kind of vision I want to bring along with the hypercars. Maybe, I don't know if we can get your Koenigsegg on board. We'll have to discuss it with the I doubt it. But what I want to do is give people the experience in a Bugatti Chiron. I remember when I drove it, being a petrol head, driven so many cars all my life, it gave me a feeling that motivated me and made me want to not stop here.
Sure.
I thought to myself that the pins and needles I got in my arm, I didn't even have my glasses on, and I didn't tell the test driver this, but I forgot my glasses at the factory, and the adrenaline that was going through me seemed to improve my eyesight a little bit. And I remember driving that car, and I thought to myself, this can't be an experience that I only experience.
Sure.
And this can't be an experience that only, let's say, even if 500 people can experience, because there's 500 Chirons, there needs to be more people that need to be inspired by the engineering aspects of these cars to then start to appreciate these cars, because I feel these are just becoming numbers now. It's like, oh, so-and-so's got an Aventador, oh, my mate's got one, and I want to get one as well. But it's a bit more to it.
Yeah.
Understand what you're buying. Go to the factory where they build them. See where your money's going into. Like when I saw the Rolls Royces being built, I thought to myself, before I used to think a lot of money, isn't it, for 250 grand for a Rolls Royce? When you see it being built and you see the craftsmanship, like, hold on a second.
I'll see where the money's going. Doesn't mean it's cheap, but
exactly.
You see where it's going.
The Regera.
Yeah.
I was mentioning with the Bugatti, it doesn't, to somebody that doesn't know what's going on or whatever, it's a very nice car or whatever, £3 million, I don't know, I don't see any carbon on it. I don't have any carbon spec. Your one out there, when you lift up the Koenigsegg and the back end comes out and stuff, and you see all the nuts and the bolts and the way everything is engineered, we've got a part of history here right now.
Exactly. And that's what it is. It's owning a
in
part
your
of
era, you had the fastest car in the world.
And to look back
at
and
21,
say that, it's mad. It's absolutely mad. Well, I think we'll probably end it there. But is there anything you'd like to convey on a personal level to the people watching this, in terms of anything you'd want people to think about, anything you'd like to make people think about, or and
I think
also
just
promote it?
be very careful of Zach because he's coming to take over. No, it's more so that I look forward to meeting a lot more hypercar owners around the world. I look forward to you connecting with your Koenigsegg car club group and people around the world. I know there's so many in the US. I look forward to connecting with the Bugatti side of things, and maybe one day, who knows, we fly some cars over to America or Dubai or wherever and connect with people and share some content and make some content that will just be memories for a lifetime.
Exactly.
And this is the first time I have met Zach, and I feel like the car scene at one point for me, and it's always what you want out of it, you see, for me became very, very sour, and I kind of stepped away from it all. That's why I didn't do YouTube, but you've kind of given me I don't know, I think you're a blessing in disguise. You've given me a bit of fresh air. You've injected some fresh passion into me, and I look forward to making some great content, not only with yourself but with other like-minded people out there. Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't have to be just hypercars, by the way.
No, yeah, exactly. Everyone's sitting there thinking, oh, he's only looking at hypercars.
I'm only visioning right now like a couple Bugattis, a couple Paganis, a couple Koenigsegg's with the coolest owners in the world. When I say the coolest, I mean like, understanding that, we're all in the same boat of our love for cars, and when the way that we look at our cars is the same way that you guys do, and I'm just really lucky to be able to be in a position where I've been able to see this collection, be inspired by it, and if I can be inspired by something like this, then it's just crazy to think what other people can be inspired by. So thank you so much for having me.
No, that's all right,
my brother. We will end it there. I do talk a lot. I know you guys are probably going to comment what I'm saying. You don't even let Zach speak, but I'm a bit of a chatterbox. I can talk for a very long time.
No, it's been fantastic having you here. So thank you for coming. I do appreciate it. And so make sure you guys check out Platinum Executive Travel. Make sure to check out Aleem's page if you don't already. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks again.
Take care.